Welcome back to AgriTalk, our final segment, our Farm Progress Show preview series brought to you by Syngenta. As we mentioned, we're just about a month out now from this year's Farm Progress Show, August 31st, September 1st and 2nd. Be here before we know it. Matt Jungmann, National Show's manager for Farm Progress, joins us. And as you said, Matt, you can see it from here now.
You literally can see it from here now. The tents are starting to go up. The structures, anyway, are starting to be built. A lot of the permanent things that are going to be left behind after the show are already built. Some new bins and buildings, and Morton's working on there. So a lot going on. It has begun.
Plenty of rain, but it sounds like just last night even you dodged a bullet.
Yeah, the big rains that came across Highway 20, it sounds like we just missed those. We've been getting a rain about every other day or so. So, the more of them we can miss now that we've started building the place, we're happy that those are going elsewhere.
And now you get a little test of how the site holds the water or handles the water.
That's exactly right. And I think when you were talking to Mark Lovig earlier, he said it very well that the show site is matured, and so it's taking this water really well. When you get as much rain as we've had this summer, the ground's pretty saturated, and it's still taking it. The storm sewer system's working, and if we had to, we could have a show out there today, which is really good considering how much moisture's been around.
And weather permitting, you should be in good shape with your field demonstration.
That's exactly right. Host farmers did a great job. We did a lot of work on selecting the hybrids, get them real early. But they're out there, they're filling ears right now. And the goal is, I was talking to a host farmer just the other day that he thinks it's going to be 20% moisture when we're harvesting it during the show. I think that's pretty aggressive, but I hope he's right. I think, if we can get anything around 25%, we'll be thrilled. And to do that, we need to be at black layer by August 15th, and we'll be tracking that. But I feel very confident that we're going to have a full rack of demonstrations this year.
That is, and especially since you moved the date up for the Farm Progress Show a few years ago, that is the race you run every year to try to be ready at showtime.
That's exactly right. And since we made that switch in 2004, this is with the exception of 2005, this is as confident as I've been going into the show a month out from the show that we're going to be in good shape come harvest time. And it is a race every year, and we're right on the ragged edge as to what we can plant for hybrids to get corn ready in central Iowa.
Which is far better than last year when you just knew you weren't going to be able to make it.
It was, yeah. I was trying to hold out hope, at this time last year, but we just didn't get any heat, and the stuff didn't come along, and it's a product of weather. We're no different than the farmers out there. We are just as subject to the whims of Mother Nature as anybody else. But this year, it's gone as well as we could have asked.
So take us through this final month. What will the schedule be for you and for those setting up here?
We've just finished the show program, so that means that the Good Idea Fairy we've put to bed till next year. If any good ideas come along, they'll be for next year's show. The show program is put to bed, and now we're working on implementing everything that's there in the show program. Most of all the rest of the things that we're working on now are focused on physically building the show and letting the growers know about it through the websites. We have the advanced tickets available on the website. Real soon we're going to have 4 webcams up so everybody can watch this thing grow here in the next couple weeks. You'll be able to go to farmprogressshow.com, buy your tickets for the show, go through the map and plan your day and take a look at how the place is progressing right there on the website. So it's kind of it transitions. We talk about that through the summer about how it transitions from being a planning thing to an implementing thing. Well, now the planning is over, and now we are fully on building the show site.
My, how times have changed. I remember, again, going back to the old days when it was rotating around 3 states and different locations within those states, and most people would not see the show site until they came on the grounds that day. As you said, now they can watch it grow.
That's exactly right, and it's really exciting because we see the traffic really bump up on our shows sites as the show approaches, and then even for the few weeks after, everybody reviewing everything that they saw, and it gives us a nice way to have last minute communications with those growers about traffic or anything else, because a lot of folks are checking out those websites before they make their plan for the day.
Now, what about parking, camping, traffic flows? Is that going to be a lot like 2 years ago or different?
We had an initial plan that we went into on the first day of the 2008 show, and then we made a lot of adjustments Tuesday afternoon, and everything worked really well on Wednesday and Thursday. So what we've done is we've essentially made those Tuesday adjustments permanent now in the plan. So for the most part, where we're sitting here a mile off of a 4-lane road with another highway intersecting it, and that's the way that's what we're dealt, and that's the way we have to handle the traffic. So there aren't a lot of adjustments that we can make, but we can adjust a few things around it so that it flows smoothly. And we're still I have a meeting actually this afternoon with the Department of Transportation and our sign vendor to make sure that our signage is going to be helpful to everybody coming in and getting out.
We talked about this last time, and it's been an interesting evolution over the years and over the history of the show, how food service is handled. You're trying something a little different this year. That's
exactly right. It's actually kind of a back to the future thing, where when the show started in the 50s and through the 60s, 70s, and 80s, when the show came to town, the local church groups, they just kind of hung out their shingle and did all the food service. And with us rotating onto new sites, that became a pretty high-risk venture as the show grew for those nonprofit organizations. And so we wanted to eliminate some of that risk back when we moved the show around, and we got one overall caterer to take care of the whole thing. Now that we're on these permanent facilities, a lot more confident that we're going to have a 3-day show, not as much risk for the food groups. We're turning the food service back to the communities, and you're familiar with Husker Harvest Days. That template works really well at Husker, and you get one food service group competing with another one, different flavors at every food stand, and that's what we're moving towards. It's our opportunity to give back a lot to the community here, because those nonprofits are able to gain the returns from that and take them home and keep them right here in the community.
And I think that's historically has been a big part of Farm Progress, and it's good to see it go back that way again, too. You mentioned Husker Harvest Days. That's coming up mid-September in Grand Island, Nebraska. How are things looking there?
Things are going very well there. I was just on the phone with Roger Libby out there this morning, and everything is shaping up very well at Husker Harvest Days. We're excited to announce that we're going to have brand new permanent restrooms. That's always one of the big things that folks would like to see, are more permanent facilities out there at Husker. And compared to the one that we have already, this one is about 40% bigger than that one. So a brand new permanent restroom facility at Husker Harvest Days. Crops are right on schedule there. They're getting really super rains. They're getting about an inch of rain every week or 5 days, and the pivots are not running nearly as much as they would have in past years. So things are in good shape in Grand Island.
And not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but do you start thinking, or how much do you monitor what's going on, say, in Decatur, Illinois, this year, thinking ahead to the Farm Progress Show next year?
We are actually, I just had a conversation this week about Decatur for next year. There's an exhibitor that's already told me that they're going to change some things, and they need to change what they're doing, and that's going to affect another exhibitor at Decatur. So we're already starting those conversations, and that Decatur puzzle is already starting to shuffle around already. So, but for the most part, those exhibitors about noon on Wednesday, about the time we get done with our Wednesday interview on the show site, everybody's mind switches out of the Boone show, and they flip either to Decatur, Husker Harvest Days, which is coming up 2 weeks later, or Decatur for 2011, or they're even talking about the next time we're back here in Boone in 2012. So those conversations are just kind of constantly evolving.
Yeah, it's an ongoing situation. All right, Matt, thanks a lot. August 31st, September 1st and 2nd, all systems go. We look forward to being back here then for a big show.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to having you.
Matt Jungmann, National Shows Manager for Farm Progress. Indeed, it will be here before we know it here in Boone, Iowa. All right, we're going to make our way to Owine, Iowa. Tomorrow, we'll be in the city park helping our affiliate KOEL celebrate their 60th anniversary. Iowa Ag Secretary Bill Northey scheduled to join us, and we may be joined by Iowa Senator Charles Grassley if his schedule permits. We hope so. Hope you'll join us tomorrow as well, right here on AgriTalk.